Hi, I'm Ayan,
And I'm Sid.
and you're watching Every Car.
Fun fact, did you guys know that the Volkswagen Group owns more than 12 companies other than itself? It owns car giants like Audi, Bentley, Bugatti, Lamborghini, and Porsche. It also owns a bike giant called Ducati. Porsche also owns commercial vehicle giants called Scania and MAN as well. This just goes to show how big a company Volkswagen really is.
Speaking of Volkswagen, today we're going to be talking about the Volkswagen Tiguan. It's going to be sitting right below the Tiguan. This is going to be a really interesting release because it's going to go up against the likes of the Hyundai Creta, the Kia Seltos, and the MG Hector. It's going to share a lot of parts from its twin brother, the Skoda Kodiaq. We've already made a video about that, so if you want to check that out, you can click on the pop-up banner up there.
Now, when we say it shares a lot of parts with the Kodiaq, you may assume that it's going to look very similar to its brother the Kodiaq. But that's actually not the case. VW has gone to great lengths to make sure that you won't mistake it for its Czech brother. The front of the Tiguan shares a lot of its visual cues from the front of its bigger brother the Tiguan, which I don't think is a bad thing because I think the Tiguan looks very smart. It's got plenty of chrome scattered around the exterior of the car, which Indians really love. This goes to show that Volkswagen has really done their research to understand the Indian market and what appeals to them. It also gets sort of ice cube shaped headlamps, which really gives it a very German look. It also gets a front skid plate at the bottom, which for the most part should be a visual piece, but it may help in tackling the big potholes and speed bumps.
In terms of the interior, you get features like ventilated seats, ambient lighting, as well as electric sunroof, which is great because that's what the competitors are offering as well. The Volkswagen goes one up by putting a fully digital gauge cluster display, which its twin brother, the Skoda Kodiaq, does not offer. You also get a 9.6-inch touchscreen display with navigation, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. Some of the other features also include a leather-wrapped steering wheel, which is going to be great. And Volkswagen this time is also claiming that there's going to be a good amount of legroom due to the long wheelbase. You also get great safety inside the car. You get 6 airbags, you get ESC, you get rear park distance control, as well as hill hold control, which is great in the car. Lastly, there are going to be USB-C ports throughout the car, which is great for optimal connectivity.
Guys, we have a small request from you. Please do consider subscribing to our videos while you're watching it. We see that 85% of the people who are watching our video are not actually subscribed. So it will greatly help us out if you could subscribe to our channel.
As the Skoda Kodiaq shares a lot of parts with this Volkswagen, it also shares the engine. So you get a 1-liter 3-cylinder turbo petrol producing about 115 horsepower, 175 Newton meters of torque from a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed automatic. Or you can upgrade to the 1.5-liter 4-cylinder turbo petrol producing about 150 horsepower, 250 Newton meters of torque with a 6-speed manual or a 7-speed automatic. In terms of the mileage, like we said in the Skoda Kodiaq video, we have no stats on the mileage yet.
Like we said in the Skoda Kodiaq video, we have very similar thoughts about the Tiguan. The compact SUV market is growing at a very fast pace and everyone is shifting from small little hatchback to slightly bigger SUVs. One of the main reasons why people do this is road presence. SUVs manage to get that bit of butch road presence and it lets you sit up high on the road. Sitting at around 1600 mm tall, it should be comfortable for people over 6 foot as well, but it's not as big as its twin brother the Kodiaq. In the international market, the same car is being sold with a different name called the Volkswagen T-Cross, which shares the same engine. Now, in the international markets, it gets a technology called cylinder deactivation in the engine. So, as it suggests in the name, cylinder deactivation basically deactivates a few cylinders in order for the engine to consume less fuel. So now it can be looked at in 2 ways. Cylinder deactivation makes an engine more unreliable because it's more technology being put into the car. And another way to look at it is that it may increase the mileage of the car. So we'll really have to see what the long-term reliability of the engine is. Speaking of mileage, it also gets a big 65-liter fuel tank. It also gets features like a 2-zone climate control. Both of us think that Volkswagen should release something like a VW Connect app where people can keep a tab on the information of their car wirelessly whenever they want. This should be similar to something like the Yuvo Connect app that you get in Kia cars, and like the Blue Link system you get with Hyundai cars. Like the Kushaq, the Taycan sits in a very weird spot in the SUV lineup. It's not as small as say the subcompact SUVs which stand below 4 meters, but it's not as big as say the Creta, the Seltos or even the MG Hector for that matter. With a peppy 150 horsepower engine and not too big dimensions of the car, it should be a hood to drive around. But again, like the Skoda Kushaq, there's one very big thing lacking with this car. It's a diesel engine. And I don't know why Volkswagen and Skoda are not putting a diesel engine in this car. I don't know what strategy they're trying to play with, but let's see how it goes.
With all of that being said, the EC score for this car is
8 out of 10. Now, it gets this same score as the Skoda Kushaq, which is 8 out of 10, simply because of two reasons. One is, you guys saw it coming again. It doesn't get a diesel engine. And second is that Volkswagens tend to break down again, like the Skodas. And their service costs tend to be on the slightly pricier side. So keeping that in mind, we've given it an 8 out of 10.
So that's about it for the Volkswagen Taycan. Let's hope it changes the fate for Volkswagen and it increases sales numbers for them. With all of that being said, please do consider subscribing down below and giving the video a big thumbs up. If you want to watch our last video, you can always click up here.
Now, if you want to watch our detailed video on the Skoda Kushaq, click here. If you want to watch a video that YouTube recommends you may like, click here. And if you want to subscribe to our channel, which you absolutely should do, click here. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Goodbye.